Imagine your world is a room with no windows. There is a door, but it is locked from the outside. In this room, you are told that the rest of the world is a wasteland, a chaotic landscape of suffering, and that you are lucky to be here, under the protection of the great leader. But your reality does not match the posters on the walls. Your stomach has been a hollow pit for as long as you can remember. You watch your children's faces grow thin, their eyes losing the spark of childhood. You begin to realize that the lock on the door isn't there to keep the wasteland out. It's there to keep you in. This is the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Here, leaving is not a right. It is a crime of the highest order, an act of treason punishable by imprisonment, forced labor, or public execution. Yet every year, hundreds of people decide that the risk of dying in pursuit of freedom is better than the certainty of suffering in silence. Today, we are going to look through your eyes. You are a North Korean citizen. You have decided to leave. This is your journey. To understand why you would risk everything, we must understand the songbun. In North Korea, your worth is determined before you are born. The state classifies every citizen based on the perceived loyalty of their ancestors. If your grandfather fought for the regime, you might live in Pyongyang and go to university. If your ancestor was a landowner or a collaborator during the war, you are hostile. You will spend your life in a coal mine or a remote farming village. By the time you decide to flee, it usually isn't because of a grand political awakening. You don't have access to the internet or foreign books to know what democracy is. You want to leave because of the hunger. The state-run distribution system, which once provided rations, has been a ghost of itself since the 1990s. You survive on the jangmadang, the illegal but tolerated private markets. But even then, the secret police, the boibu, are everywhere. They listen through the thin walls of your inmanben, or neighborhood watch units. They monitor who comes and goes, what you cook, and whether you have wiped the dust off the portraits of the leaders hanging in your home. The decision to leave is a lonely one. You cannot tell your friends. You cannot even tell your family, because if they know and don't report you, they will be punished alongside you. The guilt by association policy, YONJWAG, means your parents and your children could be sent to the Kwalaizo, the political prison camps, for your crime. You must disappear like a vapor. You sell your few belongings for cash, mostly Chinese yuan or US dollars, which are the only currencies that matter now. You find a broker, a shadow figure who bridges the gap between the two worlds. You pay them a sum that has taken your family a lifetime to save. And then you wait. You wait for a moonless night. You wait for the river to freeze, or for a guard you've bribed to look the other way for exactly 60 seconds. The DMZ, the border with South Korea, is the most heavily fortified strip of land on Earth. 2 million landmines, electrified barbed wire, and hundreds of thousands of soldiers. You cannot go south. You must go north into China. Your destination is the Tumen River, or the Yalu River. In winter, the Tumen freezes, offering a treacherous bridge of ice. In summer, it's a rushing torrent. You have no map. You have no compass. You have only the instructions whispered by the broker. The water is bone-chilling. You aren't just fighting the current. You're fighting the silence. Every splash sounds like a gunshot in the still night air. On the North Korean side, guards have orders to shoot on sight. If they catch you, they won't ask questions. On the Chinese side, motion sensors and cameras wait to trigger an alarm. You reach the other side. You are soaking wet, and the temperature is 30 below zero. Your clothes begin to freeze into a suit of armor. You are in China, but you are not free. You have just entered the black hole. China does not recognize you as a refugee. To the Chinese government, you are an economic migrant or an illegal interloper. Because of a treaty with Pyongyang, if the Chinese police find you, they will hand you back to the North Korean authorities. For a defector, repatriation is a death sentence. You spend weeks, maybe months, in a safe house, usually a cramped, windowless room in a border town like Yanji. You cannot speak. Your North Korean accent is a beacon of danger. You cannot go outside. You are a ghost. This is where the journey turns dark for many. For women, the danger is predatory. Thousands are sold into marriages with Chinese farmers, or into the sex trade by the very brokers they trusted to save them. They endure years of abuse because they cannot go to the police. To report a crime is to report themselves. To get out of China, you need the Underground Railroad. This is a network of Christian missionaries, activists, and private brokers who move people across the heart of China to the borders of Southeast Asia. You travel 3,000 miles. You sit in the back of windowless vans for 20 hours at a time. You sit on public buses, pulling your hat low, praying no officer asks for your ID. Your heart hammers against your ribs every time the bus slows down. You see the modern world through a crack in a curtain. The neon lights of Chinese cities, the abundance of food, the cars, and it feels like a science fiction movie. You realize for the first time how much was stolen from you back home. The goal is usually Thailand. Thailand is the promised land because it does not deport North Koreans back to the north. But to get there, you must cross the mountains of Laos and the Mekong River. This is the most physically grueling part of the journey. You hike through jungles where the heat is as suffocating as the North Korean cold was biting. You dodge patrols in the Golden Triangle. You cross the Mekong in a rickety wooden boat. When you finally step onto Thai soil, you do something unthinkable. You look for the police. In any other country, an illegal immigrant hides from the law. Here you surrender. You want to be arrested. Being an illegal immigrant in Thailand is the gateway to freedom. You are sent to an immigration detention center in Bangkok. It is crowded. The air is thick with the smell of sweat and cleaning chemicals. But for the first time in your life, you are safe from the secret police. The South Korean embassy is notified after weeks of vetting to ensure you aren't a spy sent by the regime. You are given a South Korean passport. You board a plane. When the wheels leave the tarmac, you finally breathe. You land at Incheon Airport, but your journey is not over. You are taken to Hanoi. This is a government-run settlement support center. For 3 months, you live in a facility where you relearn how to be a human in the 21st century. You learn how to use an ATM. You learn what interest rates are. You learn how to use a credit card and how to navigate a supermarket that has more food in one aisle than your entire home village had in a year. You are taught about democracy, freedom of speech, and the fact that the history you were taught in school was a fabrication designed to keep a dynasty in power. But then the doors of Hanoi open and you are released into the city of Seoul, and you realize there is a second wall, the wall of modern life. North Korea is in many ways a 1950s agrarian society. South Korea is a hyper-tech metropolis. The gap is 70 years of evolution. You struggle with the language. South Koreans use so many English loanwords that you can barely understand them. You struggle with the stigma. Some see you as a burden, others as a suspicious outsider. You feel a profound sense of relative deprivation. Back home, you were poor, but everyone was poor. Here, you are at the bottom of a very tall ladder. And then there is the guilt. Every night, when you look at the neon lights of Seoul, you think of the darkness across the border. You eat a bowl of white rice and remember your mother, who probably hasn't had a full meal since you left. You know that because you fled, your family may have been demoted in their songbun or sent to a camp. This is the weight of freedom. It is not light. It is heavy with the ghosts of those left behind. The number of defectors has dropped significantly in recent years. Kim Jong-un has tightened border security, installed more cameras, and the pandemic led to a total shoot-to-kill zone at the border. The door is getting harder to open, but the stories of those who made it, those who climbed over the walls and swam across the rivers, serve as a reminder. The human spirit cannot be indefinitely contained by wire and walls. Your journey, this POV, is a testament to the fact that for some, the chance to be the master of one's own fate is worth more than life itself. To be a defector is to live in a state of eternal mourning and eternal gratitude. You are free, but you will never truly be at peace until the room with no windows is finally torn down.